went through a lot of places in the Fed. Pretty much everyone from the East Coast. Well, from up here, you go to MDC. I know a lot of people go to Atlanta. I never made it there, thank God. But I ended up going to MDC, and I stayed in Philadelphia for a while. Little Kim was there. I had to stay over in Lewisburg. That was wild. When you go in there, shit, the wall, I don't know how thick it is. Pretty thick, but they bring you down into the basement. It's like medieval times. It's like a dungeon. It's wet. It's like mold, like coming down, water coming down the walls. Lewisburg, no fun. I had a cellie named Jeff N. Call him. He was a good guy. He made me make an Earl list. About all the awful things I'd done. I wonder what happened to him. He had done some crazy stuff, like kidnappings and all kinds of stuff, machine guns. I think his daughter or something was right in the mirror. I looked him up. I couldn't find him. He was the one who told me about how you. I think I gotta find my paperwork. No 5K1s here. He's the one who told me about that before I got sentenced, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I think my PSI before had the I forget what I was saying. Oh no, Deputy North. Yeah. The page. Shoot, I don't know what page it was. It says downward departure. I didn't have any downward departures. Yeah, that was a good dude though, Jeff North. He always talked about what kind of bomb he'd use to blow up the data room. He talked about daisy cutters and stuff I'd never even heard of one. Blow everyone's knees off. He did not like the cops. It was us against the cops. Another time, Middleton. The second time, I went to Lawrence Halfway House 3 times. Each time I ended up right back in the hole. And one time they shipped me all the way back to Fort Dix. Another time I finished my time out at Middleton. That was pretty cool to get released from there. I'd never been released from. I sat there for I don't know how long, pre-trial, over a year, I think. Got to see a lot of people come and go. Yeah, the one time, it was the second. I have stories about each time the halfway house there, the farm in Middleton. Yeah, so I got there. They let you go home. I think the first weekend get your clothes, and I was lucky enough to have a vehicle. I had this cool little yellow truck. But so yeah, the first weekend I let me come home, get my clothes, and and let me bring my vehicle back. I was working as a painter. Yeah, I was calling my now wife. Of course, she left me there in my bed. My second bed. I didn't have her during the first one, thank God. I was stressing. Yeah, have your old lady block your number. That's no fun. Anyway, I get to it's like my second week, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Not bad. This is my second. And I talked to Linda, my old lady, and she agrees to meet me. She'd been living in Springfield while I was gone, shacked up with some dude. And of course, she gets into herself, ended up in some involved in a robbery where she orchestrated it, and the kid robbed the girl for some pills. So this kid had her like on lock. That's a whole nother story. This kid Andrew, he's a piece of shit. Anyway, so Linda says she's gonna meet me. I'm almost my second weekend away. I can't wait. I've been locked up. I got a year for a violation the first time. I violated my supervised release, and they gave me a year in the feds. You have to get a year and a day to get good time, which is, I think it's 54 days off a year. But if you're sentenced just to a year, you have to do the whole year, day for day. So that's what I got for a dirty year, and of course, my lawyer told me I was going home. But no, it was for. So anyway, I agreed. I send Linda some money to Springfield. She free and said she's gonna meet me in Middleton. I'm in Middleborough. At some bar. First, I go to the bar. I sit there. I'm thinking about drinking, but I'm not. I'm drinking sodas. And I wait. First 10 minutes goes by. 20 minutes goes by. I'm waiting. I haven't been waiting forever, so I'm hoping to see her, you know what I mean? And it's a long drive. It's like an hour and a half from the halfway house down to Middleborough. And of course, she doesn't show. So I get hammered. I start drinking. And I drive back to Fitchburg. That was the second time. No, yeah, I did. I went to Fitchburg, and then there used to be the other side, the dive strip joint there. I went there, I drank more. I remember I got really drunk, and then I was gonna go home for the night. And I mean, man, I'm supposed to be back at the halfway house at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock that night. And it's like, shit, 7:30 or 8. And I'm hammered. I left my truck at the strip joint, and somehow I ended up in New Ipswich. But I was with this kid, PJ. Shout out to PJ. He passed away. And I decided I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the freaking halfway house. I'm gonna get in trouble. So I go back to the strip joint, get my truck, haul ass from Fitchburg to Lawrence, and I pull in the driveway. There's a little guard shack. And the guy looks at me, he shakes his head, and lifts up the gate. I walk into the building. Fenari, I think was the guy's name. And, well, he wasn't there. He was in charge, but he'd instructed him to like just arrest, pretty much, take me in as soon as I walked in there. And I walked in, and they gave me a breathalyzer right away. I forget what I blew, but they're threatening to arrest me for DWI because I drove in there, and they're all sheriffs. So they handcuffed me to the bench. I pass out on the bench. I wake up, and I'm in the back of the freaking Middleton van on the way to the hole, back to 120. Hey, that was one of my halfway houses experiences. I don't think I made it more than 2 weeks the 3 times I've been.